Hello everybody, it's me again. And as the title says, today we are gonna explore the topic of karma. And before I start talking about the topic of karma, I would like to briefly talk about how I upload videos very quickly or regularly or daily is not difficult for me. It's actually it makes me much more at ease when I upload efficiently. It just comes through me. So yeah, for anyone, if you show any concern or worry about me not taking good care of myself, I really thank you for your caring and consideration, being considerate, but I just kind of want to assure you that, or say reassure, that I'm actually really enjoying it. It's not difficult for me. I just know what I would talk about, and then I would just sit down and then start talking, and that's it. I don't do any pre-planning. I don't do any kind of script. I don't do any kind of no editing, as you can see. So yeah, it just comes naturally to me, and this is me. This is who I am. And so today, that being said, now this video is about karma. And the intent of me sharing this video about karma is that it is very important and essential for all of you and all of us, including me, all of us here, to learn about one of the most important universal laws in the universe, or say in the cosmos, right? Because this is how we actually operate as an individual, as well as how we interact with the external. So as in our daily lives, even if we are in solitude, when we are alone, we are actually also in karma, right? Then what is karma, isn't it? Even if I'm in solitude or interacting with other people, karma is always working behind the scene. It's just that we are not aware of it, and that's why now we are bringing it up to the surface, so then we are conscious about what karma is, and so to recognize it and possibly apply the understanding of karma to our daily lives, to bettering our well-being and our growth. Okay, so the intent of me sharing this video is for collective wellness and for conscious understanding of what this universal law, karma, is about, and so to apply to our daily lives with much more awareness to uplift our spirits and our well-being, okay, collectively and individually. That being said, the intent is here. So let's start with what is karma. Karma is toilet in the background. Excuse me, I don't know if you hear that. But I got distracted. Anyways, let's back to here. Focus. So karma, what is karma? Karma is in Sanskrit, which would be in Hinduism, okay? Like we tracing back to Hinduism, or say in Sanskrit, it's the ancient language, one of the most ancient languages on earth. I mean, in human history, for now, in our knowing, prehistoric time to now. Okay, I'm talking about this, but not actually Earth history. No. Okay, Sanskrit is not the oldest, or say the most ancient languages on Earth. Not even Tamil. Okay, so, but from now, the record that we have, from the perspective of archaeology or anthropology, it is one of the oldest. Okay, so that's fair to say. In Sanskrit, karma basically means action and reaction. So it's talking about, if in the physics sense, it's action reaction, right? And in another words, we can say is cause and effect, right? It's cause and effect. And karma, some people would say like good karma, bad karma, right? We can also see good karma and bad karma as positive actions. You know, actions that involve positivity and actions that involve negativity. When it comes to anything that has a positive effect or positive cause, then that would have a positive effect, right? All of this would guide us to expansion. And so that's why when people say, oh, this person has a lot of good karma, or say he or she has accumulated a lot of good karma, that actually means that this person or these people over time are very conscious with their actions, and the actions that they take are mostly positive, okay, be it towards oneself or towards other people. The positivity is of expansion, okay, of growth. And so that is why good karma would bring a person abundance, you know, traditionally speaking, or religiously speaking. In Buddhism, that is also something being mentioned, which is if you, you know, basically do good deeds, right? Even in Christianity, Jesus said, like, you know, treat everyone like your friend, like even including your enemies, right? So these are actually different ways of how the sages or saints, they have been teaching, okay, or they have been leaving the traces for the future generations to look upon, to look into, for their own growth, the guidance, right, according to their guidance. And what they have been saying is basically talking about karma, but in many different ways of expressions, shapes and forms. So like what they, like a lot of the stories, be it is in different kind of religions, they always talk about do good deeds. And the good deeds basically means actions, right? But then in essence, why? Right, people might ask, but why? I understand it is positive, positivity brings in expansion, but how can I know what to do, or distinguish what is good or what is bad in different kind of situations? Because it is, in fact, there's such a fine line here, right? Sometimes you think you're doing something good, but you just like the other person would react very adversely and then say something back to you that you would feel like, but I was just trying to be nice. I was just trying to help. I was just trying to be kind. But that person might return or respond in a way that you did not expect. Then in these kind of scenarios, right? In these kind of scenarios, one might question, then is this a good deed that I carried out, or is it something that I did really horribly? That's why that person or these people react or respond to me this way, right? So there's a very fine line here. Or say there could be a lot of confusion when it comes to context or scenarios like this. And so that's what we are going to explore as well, okay? Now, before we go into scenarios, I would love to first demonstrate through certain visuals. So it's going to be on the iPad that I'm going to flip, okay? And if you feel like taking screenshots, please feel free. So I have picked 5 images for our better understanding using visuals, okay? Now, karma, if from a using sacred geometry to demonstrate, it basically is like this. The Vesica Piscis, okay, the Vesica Piscis in Latin, the Vesica Piscis. Hey, my little flower here. So let me focus. So you can see that this is a Vesica Piscis, right? So it's 2 circles, and then in the middle they overlap. And when they overlap, this middle area, in Latin, it actually means the fish bladder. Okay, the fish, like the fish. Okay, the fish bladder is also in Christianity. Jesus is like this symbolize this part is associated with Jesus Christ. Okay, and in Greek and Roman, ancient Greece and ancient Rome or Roman, they associate this part with Venus or Aphrodite. Okay, so the goddess of love or the goddess of abundance. So that would be Lakshmi in Hinduism, like the equivalent. Okay, Lakshmi in Hinduism, and so what it actually is symbolizing here. Why do I bring this up when it comes to karma? Because karma, we can say it is action and reaction, which is in Sanskrit, it does say that, right? It is true from one perspective. In another perspective, it actually means, if in a universal sense, there are many names to it. One name would be balance. Balance, okay? Like this one, like a scale, okay? And in fact, I'm gonna put it closer. And in fact, in ancient Egypt, the goddess Ma'at, M-A-A-T, Ma'at is the scale, okay? She is the goddess of basically balance. So what it means is that, we're going to come back to this, but I'm going to put it down a bit. So what it means is that karma is the justice system. It's a universal justice system. That's one vocabulary that we can talk about here. Like I said, there are many names when it comes to karma, actually, or many ways of interpreting karma. It's action and reaction, cause and effect, balance, scale, and also equilibrium. Okay, so that's what we said. That's what I, on this slide, it is talking about here, equilibrium. Okay, and also justice system. Justice system, that is why it's a scale. And also in ancient Egyptian culture is Ma'at, M-A-A-T. So what is equilibrium? Now let's briefly read this, this is very short. Equilibrium is a state in which the supply and demand for a given good or service are in balance. Okay, a state in which the supply and demand for a given good or service are in balance. So the keywords here would be, it is a state, right? Where the supply and demand for a good or service in balance, okay. Now this is actually in a business sense, right? Because it's talking about goods or service and supply and demand. This is more talking about in a business sense. However, this is also applicable in a universal sense. Because, however, in a different way. The supply and demand here is talking about how the universe or the cosmos or the cosmic intelligence, it operates in a way that is unseen, or we can say, if in the business term, invisible hand. And in fact, yes. And it is not through any force or control. It is simply through, if we put it in science, is simply equilibrium. It is a way how the universe balances itself with all the components, all the elements that's involved in a system. Okay, so it is a way that invisibly, automatically, everything would be balanced, or say balancing, keep balancing, because this is a preset. Okay, it is a preset. So what does it mean? It means no matter where you are, no matter where you are, no matter where I am, no matter where she or he is in the world. And by that I mean not only on Earth. If you if you immigrate to Mars 20 years later, your karma, your karmic balance, your own karmic balance, yes, everyone has their own karmic balance. It's like bank balance. So each person has his or her own karmic balance. So in this way, there's no escape, because we have to carry, like, it's with us, it's with each of us. So that is why there's no escape, because no matter where we go, it's with us. As long as we are in the universe, or say just in the cosmos, we exist. And karma is working behind the scenes, or say working within us, or say it's working in us. Okay, so it is simply a universal understanding of what karma is, because, and it's very important to understand that, because if we don't understand karma, we might not be as conscious when we take any actions or make any decisions. Because every action that we take and every decision that we make would directly affect our forward pathway, and also how we direct our actions accordingly to the previous action or decision that I make or take. Okay, and that is why the awareness is so important here. All right, now we talked about the business sense of karma, and also the general understanding of what karma is, like justice, scale, balancing. We can now go into more of like a scientific base, right? So the scientific base is that, now we have this one here. Introduction to equilibrium theory. So what is equilibrium, right? Equilibrium is a state of balance. Equilibrium can be dynamic or static. Equilibrium can be stable or unstable. equilibrium can be affected by external factors. Right, so what it means is that if anyone has ever studied science, equilibrium is how when something, like anything, it could be a person, biologically, right? It could be a solution, chemistry, right? A solution that you're mixing. It could be salt and water. That is also would be the equilibrium is happening everywhere. Even the air here, okay? It could even be in cooking. A dish that tastes really good is when it's in equilibrium, right? When anything is in balance, is beauty. Like the Greek architecture structure, right? Like symmetry, like sacred geometry, the flower of life. These are all symmetry and proportional. And all of this, why are they so pleasant for the eyes? It's because they are in equilibrium, and that is balance. And that is exactly what karma is for. To maintain the quality of beauty. To maintain the quality of beauty. Or say to maintain the justice. Or say to balance any kind of imbalance. Right? To adjust accordingly. So now, then, this is what the theory is, right? It can be stable, it can be unstable. Why? Because there is something called static equilibrium, and also something called dynamic equilibrium, right? So static equilibrium is basically nothing's moving. Nothing is moving, and that would be applied more to mechanical things, But when it comes to anything that's moving, such as chemistry or biology, okay, it can also be in physics, but not mechanical, okay? Anything that is flexible, moving, energetic-wise even, that would be dynamic equilibrium. Dynamic equilibrium is when the rate of the forward reaction and the reverse reaction are balanced. The system is in dynamic equilibrium. Okay, so the forward action and the reverse reaction. Forward reaction and the reverse reaction, what do you think of? What do you think of when it comes to these two vocabularies? Four, actually. But you know what I'm saying? It's cause and effect, right? And also action and reaction. Okay, so when these two things are balanced, meaning the rate, they talk about the rate, right? So it's kind of like when we're on an escalator. When we're on an escalator, like the rate of us moving upward, like as a kid, we always play this. I don't know if you play it, but I did. So sometimes I still do. Do I? No, not now. But I was like, did I? But like when you step on the escalator and then you move to the reverse direction. Okay, say like you know what I'm saying, right? Like the escalator is actually going up, and then you keep going down. You keep walking down the escalator that is actually going upwards. And when you are at a rate that is the same as the rate of the escalator that's going up as you're going down, you are not moving, so to speak. But it's actually not that you're not moving. You will keep moving, right? You keep moving. Your legs are keep moving. You keep walking down as the escalator is keep moving upwards. That is an dynamic equilibrium. Because this does not mean that nothing is happening, because you're actually walking down as the escalator is going upwards. So it is exactly things are happening, right? But why is it that it seems like you're not moving? Because that is in itself a dynamic equilibrium, right? It's the same as the tank. It's the same as any kind of air situation, scenarios, or context. So what does it mean Scientifically speaking, dynamic equilibrium is a balance between forward and reverse processes occurring at the same rate like this. Okay? And what does it actually mean? It basically means sustainable. Haha. It's basically talking about sustainability, right? Whatever is the input is, and the output would be regenerated back to that, and also maintaining the balance there. So nothing more, nothing less. There's only energy transformation happening in between, but it doesn't mean that nothing is happening, right? It basically means that everything is happening all at once, but everything is balanced. So this is what equilibrium is, and this is what karma is as well. Because when karma is disrupted, meaning when any kind of dynamic equilibrium is disrupted, it would naturally rebalance itself, right? So in any of the system, if you have a dynamic equilibrium already in dynamic equilibrium, right? So everything is happening all at once. A lot of things could be happening at the same time. But the rate of the forward and the reverse reactions are balanced. Okay, what does it mean? It means harmony. Harmony, right? That actually means harmony or unity. Unity. It looks like there's nothing moving. It looks like. So that's why it's united. It's unity. One. Okay, everything is very harmonized. But there are actually a lot of movements there. It's just that it is not distorted. There's no huge disruption happening. Okay, everything is in coherence. So this is what dynamic equilibrium is. And what is happening now? That's done. That's done. Now we're going to talk about how karma is related to us. When we are not conscious with our actions, and a lot of the time it would involve trauma. When the trauma is involved, and thus leading to our actions not being conscious, that would cause or lead us to carrying out tasks, so to speak, involving negative karmas. Okay. And the reason that I'm speaking on this is because if we don't know what we are doing, if we don't know that what we are speaking or intervening or directing or intending, this could lead us to more confusion in life. And when I was talking about this, what we can learn from here is that the shape of this, it does look like a fish bladder. However, it is also found in many of the daily lives, even in our body or on our body. So one thing we can see, this is like the pineal gland, the third eye. Okay, so when we understand how karma is here balancing